Lloyd was pacing back and forth. The room was small but adequate for both himself and Clancy. He felt responsible for the Serpentine, and their fates were now linked, for better or for worse. As much as he wanted to be alone with his thoughts, he didn't feel safe here, and he would be ready to protect Clancy if it came to that. Lloyd was glad they shared a room, awkward as it was. Clancy was lying on a thick mattress on a bed carved from ice. Ironically, he had similar thoughts. He wanted to be alone, but he knew this was safer. The piece of paper he had secretly tucked inside his vest was eating away at his mind, and he desperately wanted to inspect it closer. It had shook him to his core. There was doom and promises of bad things to happen implied on the words written on the scrap. He had always insisted it was important to keep a positive outlook on things, but given the circumstances, it was hard. Lloyd, pacing back and forth, offered him no peace, so he just had to wait. He decided to break the silence.
So, this is nice. You hardly feel the cold, and the mattress is nice, and the music is so soothing.
Lloyd promptly changed the subject. Did you notice her eyes? Did something feel off about her? Yana, I mean. Clancy cleared his throat.
Do you mean how they seem to project a peace which is only found in people with complete faith and confidence in their leader? The way there was no hint of doubt, regret, or insecurity in the words she spoke, or the way she spoke them? The way she moved like her entire being had only a single purpose, and the way she carried herself was with an ease and grace that only a person which has found their true purpose has. No desire to pursue any other goal, an individual who is truly fulfilled.
Lloyd stopped dead in his tracks. Not only was it the sheer length of Clancy's monologue, but it was the complete lack of stutter and seemingly profound insight into the mind of a person he had only just met. Lloyd hadn't been able to articulate it to himself, but what Clancy had just said rang true, and it had his gears spinning. He had figured out most of Clancy's personality, he had thought to himself. Clancy had a great devotion to whatever he attaches himself to, so of course he would have some insight on how one acts when they're a true follower, but there was still something about Yana that seemed to be beyond that. Do you think she's here of her own free will, Clancy? Something about her eyes. Lloyd thought back to his encounters with the Hypnobrai all those years ago. Eyes are said to be a window into the soul, and he clearly remembered seeing soul suppressed in the eyes of those who fell to their hypnotic gaze. His uncle had even told him about how the Master of Earth had turned against the Elemental Alliance during a crucial battle in the Serpentine War. He knew how the vapors of the Venomari's acidic poison could warp reality. He wondered just how much Clancy knew about such things, but still, this was different. It was more like she was enchanted, seduced by a being or higher intellect or something like that.
I thought she was really pretty, and I liked the way she looked at Peggy, but you're right. It's rare to see eyes like that. It's like they were trying to tell you everything, but forced to reveal nothing.
Lloyd pondered this for a second and then summed up what he knew. They were strangers in a strange place. People who were desperately clinging on to hope came here, and what they found was what appeared to be a full functional society built inside of Ninjago's highest mountain, and it just happened to also be the temple of former Masters of Ice. He had seen enough strange things in his short life to be suspicious and expect the worst. He knew what he needed to do. Clancy, we need to check this place out. And we need to do it right now. If there's anything fishy going on, we need to know about it so we're alert and prepared. Clancy's mind was spinning. He had not meant to make Lloyd feel unsafe here, but the determination of his words had Clancy's thoughts starting to darken too. And then there was that small scrap of paper, which kept creeping into his mind. Luckily, Lloyd seemed to pick up on his insecurity and made a decision, so Clancy didn't have to. You stay here. I'll head out to investigate. Make sure you keep making some noise though, they might be checking on us, so we need to pretend we're both in the room. Clancy was in two minds. He didn't like being abandoned by his newfound friend, but he also knew that one of them was a trained ninja and he himself was not.
I'll just be speaking to Peggy then,
Clancy said and gave his peg leg a twirl.
We have seen a lot these past few days and have hardly spoken, but do be careful, please, Master Lloyd.
Lloyd nodded and slipped out the door. He couldn't help but smile as he heard the muffled voice of Clancy starting his imaginary conversation with himself, or Peggy, whatever. It was darker now somehow, not completely dark. Light still bounced off reflective surfaces and ran across the icy catwalks which connected the habitats of this strange village. There was still music playing, but it was much less imposing now, almost like a lullaby played to keep a child safe and secure. The sounds of chimes and gentle strings echoed between the walls, and Lloyd found himself more at ease. Maybe this place was alright, and one too many bad experiences had left him jaded and attentive to wonders and joy. His mind instinctively wandered to Harumi, but he shook away the image in pain. He couldn't let his mind be clouded now. Either this place was fine or it was not. He'd have to see for himself.
Yes, the mattress is very soft, I mean Lloyd.
Clancy found it hard to keep up the charade. He felt bad about not addressing Peggy by name, and he was rapidly running out of subjects to talk about, but he kept going. He had made a promise to Lloyd. He came up with a new subject.
Why, yes, I do enjoy poetry. In fact, I've written one myself just recently. Why, I have it right here, let me show you.
you. He sat up at the edge of his bed and with trembling hands reached inside his vest and took out the folded piece of paper. He unfolded it and swallowed hard. Time for a second look. A tap on the door and gentle voice startled him. With a loud yelp, he fell over backwards. Yenna's voice rang out. Green Savior Lloyd and Pirate Clancy, are you okay in there? I've brought you some warm tea and sweets. Compliments of the Wishmaster. Clancy gathered himself as quickly as he could, tucked the paper back inside his vest, and ran to the door.
Many thanks. You could just leave it outside. Master Lloyd is sound asleep, and I wouldn't want to wake him.
After what felt like an eternity, Yana responded, and Clancy heard a tray be put down right outside the door. He waited for the steps to fade away before he opened the door and claimed the tray. He hoped that he had done good and that Lloyd was doing better. He looked down at Peggy and felt less alone.